What's up, you guys? Nick here, and last week we did a race recap of the 2022 World Indoors Men's 1500. Now that's a global championship, and it was a spicy hot pace. It was really truly fast from the gun, and when it's that fast, tactics that kind of go out the window. You really are just trying to get yourself around that track as fast as you can. Now today's race, totally different story. The men's mile from this year's 2022 NCAA championships, and the pace is pedestrian. Now, sometimes this happens at a championship race. There's no rabbits, everybody's looking around. All that matters, time goes out the window, you just have to win. And in these situations, sometimes it goes really slow. And when that happens, tactics are everything. I'm gonna tell you exactly how to win one of these championship races. Roll tape. All right, 10 guys lining up, and I do believe every single one of them is a sub 4-minute miler. In fact, you fact checkers out there, let me know. I think just to qualify for NCAAs in the mile this year, you had to be a sub 4-minute miler. Insane. I remember when a sub 4-minute mile would land you a pro contract. Not anymore. These guys, they can run extremely fast, but as you're seeing already just 100 meters in, it's not that fast. They're not jockeying for position yet. They're kind of just looking around, few elbows. At 200 meters, we're gonna have a really good idea exactly how fast, or in this case, how slow they're actually running. So as they break there at the turn, they start to find their positions. 200 meters in right around 30 seconds. Now, if they were running 4-minute miles, that would be right there. Again, kind of slow for them. It gets much worse. Some people say worse, and so I'm using that term. I say better. If I was in this race, this is exactly how I would want it to play out. Now, a true miler doesn't want to hear an 800-meter guy say this, but that's exactly what's happening. When you run that slow for the first 2 laps, you turn it into a kicker's race, and an 800 guy like me can turn and burn off those short turns. Now, coming through 400 meters, boom, 61, almost 62 seconds. Again, not that fast, not that slow. It's about to slow way down. They're all putting on the brakes. As you feel those brakes being applied, I immediately think to myself, there are only 2 people in this race right now. Up front, you have Mario Garcia Romo from Ole Miss, and on his shoulder, John Davis from Illinois. Now, these are really the only 2 people in the race, in my opinion, and I'll explain why in just a minute, but right now you see people starting to get impatient, right? They know it's slow, they know where they need to be. Again, only 2 runners, in my opinion, are where they're supposed to be in this race. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. When you have a really, really slow race like this, a really slow pace, every single inch matters, right? Every single fraction of a second, when we see the final results, you'll see a 1/10 of a second is enormous. It might separate first from dead last in some cases when the pace is this slow. So you can't spot anybody, any territory, and you have to be up front. Knowing that, we go back up front to Mario and John, and they are where they need to be, right? Mario constantly looking over his shoulder. He makes sure no one passes him, even though they just ran a 68 second for the second lap. That is absolutely pedestrian. I love to see it. So you've got Mario up front, you've got John on his shoulder. Now, John Davis in the Illinois top, the orange top. You guys are already thinking to yourself, I bet Nick thinks he's gonna win. He's in perfect position. He's in actually a phenomenal position where no one's gonna come up around his shoulder. If they do, he can push them out to lane 3. He can make a move. He can match any single move, and that's what he's doing. As you see, Duke knows he's out of position. He makes the move, go. He does not finish the move. I don't know Duke's name, but he should have finished that move, and he should have gotten up into that pole position. Do what it takes to find position, even if it takes a little bit of shoving or a little bit of extra turbo. And again, up front, it is Mario Garcia Romo. He's where you need to be. Think Centrowitz in the 2016 Olympic Games. You have to be up front. Everybody at this level has a great kick. You are basically stealing time. You're stealing inches into this last lap if you're in first or second. Now they're entering the last lap, the last 400 meters, 3:13. That means they just ran a 62.4. So they're definitely winding this up. And that's what happens in a tactical race. It goes slow, it'll accordion a couple times, and then it starts to slowly but steadily get faster and faster and faster. And as you prep yourself in this lap, in indoors, as you're readying yourself for the last lap, you have to steal every inch, every 1/10 of a second you can get. Every single 1,000th of a second is gonna be important here. And as they go into the last lap, my money is on Garcia Romo because he has done just that. He's stolen a 1/10 of a second on his competitors. Now all he has to do is just look over his shoulder, feel his competitors. He doesn't have to press the turbo button. He just has to match every single move. Hold the athletes off. Make sure if they try to pass you, you push him out into lane 2. That's exactly what he's doing. And now he can dump everything he has for the finish line. Can anyone catch him? There are people with better kicks, but no, they're not able to hold him off. Did you see people coming like an absolute train in that last 50 meters? But they had left too much work to be done. It's Mario Garcia Romo. He is your NCAA champion. 3 takeaways from this race. Takeaway number 1, credit where credit is due. Mario Garcia Romo of Ole Miss executed that race strategy perfectly. I mean, seriously, was he up all night literally just watching exactly what Matt Centrowitz did in 2016 Olympic final? Guys, this isn't that hard. This is super, super simple. If I told you we were all gonna go out and race 200 meters and you said, hey, Nick, can I get a 6-inch head start? I would never give it to you because a 6-inch or a 12-inch head start is huge in a 200-meter sprint. Well, that's exactly what the field just gifted Garcia Romo in that last lap. If you look at that final frame going into the last 200, he wasn't awarded that position, he earned it, but the field gifted him that head start. Shame on the field. Every single athlete that was in dead last or in the last, 5, 6 people of that pack, you weren't beat. You beat yourself by not being in the right position. I mean, I really mean that. What are you doing in the back of the pack? You're never gonna win that race there. Ugh, okay, takeaway number 2. I do not ever want to hear someone
talk poorly about
a race like this. This is a work of art. This is true middle distance running at its finest. You know what? I find rabbited races super boring. Anyone can go to the track, get someone to rabbit them, fire the gun, go really, really hard, collapse at the finish line, and say, I ran fast. Literally anyone can do that. It is such a more interesting race when you don't have rabbits, when time goes out the window, when all that matters is the win and you get to watch these people play chess with each other. I think this was a phenomenal race. I know people love to see fast times, but that's not what championship running is about. This is what championship running is about. And 3, my last takeaway, and it may not be a hot take. I think a lot of people are gonna hate on me for this one, especially here in America. Why in the world are we running the mile? I mean, the entire world except for 3 countries uses the metric system. And in fact, in track and field, we use the metric system. We don't race the 880 anymore or the 440. We run the 800 meters and the 400 meters. Why randomly do we decide, oh, hey, this time we're gonna actually use Imperial, you guys go ahead and run the mile? It doesn't make sense. No one's running the mile internationally. All these athletes that aspire to go pro one day are gonna be running the 15. Just run the damn 15. That's all I got for you guys today. Next week, what are we doing next week? We don't know what we're doing next week. Tell me in the comments below what else you want me to recap. And if nothing else, I do have a couple really good stories I want to tell you guys in the next couple weeks. Some big announcements, so hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next week.